Hello and welcome to Project 6, the last project for the um, corporate managerial finance class. Works with 4310. As always, we're going to come to the base Excel on the website, and then we'll come down here to Project 6 in Monte Carlo. And again, we'll just open the file. Enable our editing and enable the content. Click to start the process. Enter your name, last name, and again your student 800 number, and OK. And then we'll just close it. So here's my Monte Carlo file. I'm going to go ahead right away, Control-C to copy it, and then I'm going to come over to my jump drive where I have my material, and Control-V to paste. Again, just to highlight it one more time, if you leave it on the desktop, it will get deleted. So we'll go ahead and open the file. The first information that we're going to need is some sales data. So I'm going to come over here to back to the directory and go ahead and open up my sales forecast. So the data we're looking for is going to be the year that we're in, the forecast, and the air term, and that's all we really need. And we start with the last year that we have actual data for, so that would be 2014 in my case, but as time goes forward it may be additional. And we're just going to pull over here till we get the standard error, the regression, and then we're going to come down and grab a couple of years. It doesn't really matter, you don't have to be perfectly exact here. Control-C to copy. We need at least 10 though, or 11 actually. Control-C to copy, and I'm going to come back to my model here, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste the data over here. Now, I don't need 1995. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to paste just the numbers and the formatting associated with it. There we go. So this is my year. I'll just grab this chunk of data and move it over to my year column. And then I want my forecast, so I'll grab the forecast data and we'll run it over to the forecast. And then I want my standard errors, and we'll come over here and go to the standard error section. And at this point the rest of the data is useless, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Alright, we want to count our positions, so this is going to be for year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. This is going to be the percent change, and that's going to be equal to, and I'll go ahead and pull off, I'll just highlight these guys for a little bit and then go ahead to a no fill on them so you can see things a little bit better. This is equal to the quantity of the forecast for the year minus the forecast for the last year divided by the forecast for the last year. And we don't want to use the actual data for 2014, we want to use the forecast data process. And then this is my my estimate for the standard deviation, and this is simply going to be equal to the standard error, the estimate, divided by the forecast for that year. This isn't an exact measure, but it's a fairly decent approximation. I'm going to change those to percentages and go ahead and add a couple of decimal points to them. And at this point we can go ahead and drag down. And then as always we want to add a little underline. We want to keep things as organized as possible. I can set these equal to centered just as an example. Alright, that's going to bring us over to this section, and again I'm going to go ahead and clear out a little bit of the data with a blank fill. We're going to set this up as a series of equations, so this is going to be equal to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to drag that down, and then we'll just click and move everything over to the appropriate place. We can't do a copy transpose because we want equations here, and this is a fairly simple way to get things done. In Excel, there's always a lot of ways to do the same thing, and perhaps there's a more efficient way to do this, but for the purposes of our project, this is going to work out fine. So that's my first set of equations. My second one is going to be the percent changes. And again, we'll just drag this down real quick and then move everything into the proper position. And we want to set up as equations, again, just to keep it as dynamic as possible as we move. You may undertake and do a whole capital budget, and they decide not to do the project that year, but the next year they may be interested, in which case you'll have to update all your tables and everything else. So we want to be able to just drop new data here and have all of our things adjust appropriately. And delete the last two. And finally, we're going to work with our estimate of the standard deviation of the percentage sales. So this says is that my expected increase in sales is 8.4%, but my confidence is like this would be plus or minus 1 standard deviation of 4.9. So it's quite possible that it's negative. It could be a lot more positive, but it should be centered roughly around the nominal value. And you'll notice that the percentages start to decrease as we go forward in time. That's typical of a linear forecast. The percentages will go down. The percentage increase goes down over time. And also typical for the growth of a company. The bigger a company gets, the growth rate naturally slows down, where the size of the growth actually gets bigger. In other words, a small company the first year may double their sales and have 100% growth. If they've been around for 20 years, they may get a 5% increase in sales that could represent, billions of dollars. All right, so that's our first tab. I'm going to go ahead and save the file. Our next tab, what we're going to do is create a random process, similar to what we did in the sales forecasts, but instead of writing a macro, we're going to use some different Excel functions. Again, there's multiple ways to do the same thing in Excel, depending on what the process is. Sometimes one method is just more simple and direct than any other method. All right, well, thank you very much. Again, I hope you're enjoying the projects and getting a good portfolio of projects put together with good write-ups that you can take with you to the interview process and then use as templates when you get a job and move forward. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.